Hello, and welcome to a demonstration of AgenticWebQA. Let's take a look at how to use the tool in a CI/CD environment. What we're looking at over here is a GitHub Actions job used by the AgenticWebQA project to confirm functionality whenever pull requests are open. This job confirms learn and auto-heal functionality is working against an existing website included in the project. We start off by wiping all the learned artifacts. These artifacts are site hints and the saved deterministic actions that the AI writes. Site hints contain information about selectors that have been used, and the actions contain the specific saved deterministic behavior that we're going to reuse over and over again. From there, we confirm that the AI can learn how to build the login test. We confirm that it auto-heals damage to the selector. And we confirm that login tests run afterwards without having to resort to AI fallback. Here's an example of what some of that code looks like. Let's go to our first learn. Here we call Python and the class, and we pass it a series of arguments. We have the prompt, the visual LLM success, or you can pass different types of success criteria. The start URL, what action we want to save this as for a deterministic reuse. We can see we're using a max step value. The default, I believe, is 40. We're calling this as headless, which makes sense in a CI/CD environment. We're asking for verbose logs. We're also maxing out the sub-actions per function. What that does is limit the number of sub-actions that can be written per the deterministic function that you save. In this case, we are saving something called login flow. What we're likely going to get is 5 actions out of it. Select username field, input username text, select password field, input password text, and select login button. We could leave this out, or we can include this in order to somewhat fine-tune our tests in order to try to get them to be as deterministic and reusable as possible. And then you can see we're also passing the model. There are a large number of additional arguments that can be passed that adjust things like timing and other elements. This is probably a pretty good base set that most tests will require. As we go into the other tests instances, you're going to find that they're basically the same because we're testing against this login test behavior, and we're really just modifying it in different places. And the only real differences you're going to see are things like us teeing the log file out to some different locations to compare the different runs to each other. Now, going further, note that the approach that's being used here is one where we use the prompt to have the AI initially learn, meaning that the very first run that you ever do of one of these completed jobs will always be a long one, where the LLM must first go through the steps to then write the deterministic function. It will then, on subsequent runs, use that deterministic function to run much faster, and then only fall back to the LLM when an issue is experienced. You can instead write those deterministic tests directly and create manually your login flow action, either by yourself or with the help of AI. But keep in mind that if you do this, it is less durable. The idea is that if it fails, you don't know if the AI is going to be able to repair the existing scenario because you didn't test it in the first place, building the logic for that action. In some cases, you may find you have a very difficult scenario in order to test, and you must actually do this and set up that scenario manually. But so far, all of the development for AgenticWebQA has been with the idea of being able to rely on the natural language prompts instead. And that is the current recommended technique.